Namaste, and welcome to Transcend, your daily source of inspiration and spiritual wisdom. Namaste, welcome to Transcend. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and subscribe to our channel. So, we're going to talk about perfection, enlightenment, and the position of the soul as a spirit particle, as a particle, part and parcel of the divine existence of reality in the totality of life. So a lot of times we hear things like, everything you do is perfect, you are a perfect being, everything you think is perfect, all your spiritual practices are perfect. And just today I saw something on Instagram. Someone said, every step you take is perfect because you are perfect. And this isn't exact, it's a nice idea, but it kind of gives the wrong philosophical conception to the person who's hearing these types of ideas. And first of all, we'll just kind of go through it a little bit. So, okay, in breaking it down, if perfection is resplendent within the heart, then how could the living entity become illusioned? How can we become illusioned? How can we feel the dualities of this world? Pain and pleasure, suffering and happiness, cold and heat. If one is perfected, that means they are a transcendental being. In Sanskrit, it's called siddhi, perfection, and it's called Shuddha Sattva, which means transcendental goodness. It's beyond the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So when perfection is there, there's no room for imperfection. That makes sense, doesn't it? So not even one speck of room for imperfection. So therefore, if we are perfect beings, why do we feel so imperfect all the time? Why do we experience the mortal life, the temporary life, the ego, the intellect, the mind, the physical and subtle bodies? Why are we experiencing these with such deep attachment if we're perfected? If we're already perfect, then these things, if we're already perfect, that means that this world is meaningless, because this world is a place of karma and rebirth to exhaust our pious and impious activities, to go about our independent, egoistic missions in life, in this birth as a human, maybe as a dog, as a fish, as a cat, as an insect. So if everyone and everything is perfect, then this world literally has no meaning. So that is the Vedic version. And it's not that, yes, the soul has the innate capacity and potential for perfection. But in the Veda, it's described that the soul is emanated from the marginal potency of God, called Tatastha Shakti, which means the marginal energy. And we're emanations of that energy. And we come to the place of illusion, and therefore the marginal potency, the soul, becomes covered in illusion when they associate with illusion. And if they can somehow associate with the higher spiritual energy, known as the Swarup Shakti, then they can experience perfection. And when they are fully absorbed in that platform of Swarup Shakti, the internal energy of God, then they are freed from everything. And that is when they reach the highest stage of prema, divine love. And so perfection, when one attains that stage, perfection, they can't come back to imperfection. So in the Veda, it describes that one has to associate themselves with the higher energy according to their ability, according to their position. So associating, it means as things associate, they get that energetic quality. So for instance, when you take a iron rod, it's just some rod, and then you stick it in the hot fire of flames, then the rod, if you leave it there long enough, according to the amount you leave it there, the rod will get hotter and hotter, and it'll even glow red like the fire. It'll take on the qualities of the fire. And that is the same idea as the spirit soul in association with the Swarup Shakti, the higher dimensional spiritual energy of God, which is far beyond the material domain, this world, in other words. And so, to do that, there's different limbs of spiritual life. Hearing about spiritual life, hearing about Krishna, remembering Krishna, remembering the Leela, the plays of Krishna that he sported within this world and that he eternally sports in the spiritual world. The chanting, we can chant about these things, and we can serve with remembering Sri Krishna. So the idea is the more we associate with that quality of higher spiritual life, the more we get that into our heart until we come through the stages. There's 8 stages of spiritual life, and the topmost being prema, and so divine love. And so when one is fully resplendent with that divine love, with that divine intensity, then there is no covering it, because that ananda, that bliss that comes from the divine love, there is no chance for that to be hampered. There is no chance for that to decline. And so therefore it's a faulty thing to say that everything is perfect, that we are perfect, that we just have to realize ourselves as perfect beings. That's incorrect. And I'm not saying it's incorrect. That's what the Vedas say, and it actually makes sense. It doesn't make sense that we're perfect yet somehow illusioned, because perfection is an adjective that means nothing can contaminate it. There's no entrance for imperfection. So I think you can understand that. It makes logical sense, and spiritual life is logical. So we have to be careful with who we accept as spiritual teachers, as spiritual advisors, because a lot of people, they just say things that sound nice. They say things that sound pleasing to the ears. But actually, spiritual life is not about that. Spiritual life is about dying to live. So what does that mean? It means giving up all false conceptions and coming and giving in to the divine flow that is true, that is based in true knowledge, not sentiment. We don't want sentiment, and we don't want only philosophy. There needs to be a balance. True, genuine feeling, bhava, emotion, and deep-rooted philosophical conclusions that can be found in the Vedas. Hundreds of books that give these detailed conclusions. So that is the glory of the Vedas, is that they give such detailed knowledge. And that is very much wanted, because otherwise we'll be misled by people who say pleasing things. And the pleasure is in getting divine knowledge that is genuine, not speculated, not manifested from the mind. And so to enter into that downward flow, that disciplic succession, coming down, just as Krishna comes down as an avatar, so divinity descends upon us. And our attempts at ascending are not so good, and they are not so powerful. Why? Because the soul is infinitesimal, and only, as I gave the example before with the rod, when our infinitesimal soul is in association with the infinite divine Krishna, then we experience infinity, and we experience infinity to the highest potential. So these are some things that we should think about and try to make sense of, because otherwise we'll just believe that everything we're doing is perfect. Can we say that about the person who's killing someone else? Can we say that about someone who is doing a line of cocaine? Is that perfect spiritual activity? I don't think so. And so we have to discriminate between truth and non-truth, and we have to base ourselves in line with the ancient process that gives genuine achievement. Real achievement can be there. And there's so many people that follow the process. Spiritual life is a process. It's not a speculated do whatever you want thing. There is room for independent creation of spiritual life, yet there is a platform, a formula that is followed by all spiritual people. So hope everything was very pleasing and thought-provoking for you, my friends, and hope you enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. Namaste.